Offseason for the Nuggets gets well on its way, and the speculations start to grow. What's going on? Let's dive into it. You're watching CS 105.1, where I talk about sports with good vibes. Let's get it. How's it going, everyone, and welcome. I'm CS Chandler, here for another take of Nuggets basketball. So, it's been a little while now since Nuggets lost Game 7 against OKC. Had some time to kind of break everything down, kind of figure out my feelings on the whole thing, how it went down and everything. And I kind of figured, now's a good time to kind of, talk about this. Let's flush this out. Let's get, a little bit feeling better, or at least trying to get on the road to healing, right? So when we're looking back at the postseason, being the underdog in both rounds and still, taking it to the max, is something to be extremely proud of. They took out a very, very good Clippers. We were not supposed to win that round. That's what everyone said, right? ESPN definitely, they're the anti-Nugget network, and they definitely didn't have Nuggets. Even Charles Barkley has actually been in favor of the Nuggets for a couple years now with Jokić and everything. He was the one that was rooting for Nuggets to win the championship when they did, when everyone else said that they wouldn't. And now he's even against the Nuggets. Like, everyone is against the Nuggets. And sometimes they like it that way, and sometimes it just kind of continues to feed into the same narrative that everyone is trying to weave for us. So, but the fact is, the Nuggets still took out a very good Clipper team. And we can be at least proud of that fact, that's round one, right? They should have wrapped round one in before 7 games. But they didn't. They went to 7 games and they completed the job after that. And then we get into round 2 with OKC. And they actually should have ended that in less than 7 games. They could have had that in 5. The Nuggets, the 4th seed, undermanned, undercoached, should have beaten the 1 seed OKC in 5 games. OKC is the one that stole 2 games from us. And they went on to actually then have the advantage with that Game 7. But that was 100% in Denver's control, and they lost that control. So, they had 3 chances to end that OKC series. They took them to 7 games still, won the first game when everyone thought the OKC was going to sweep us. Still, the Nuggets persevered. They brought that series to everyone else's surprise, not Nuggets Nation, because we already knew what they were capable of, but everyone else's surprise, to a Game 7. We took the best team to a Game 7. So there's lots to be proud of. I know that we have now entered into this era of championship or bust, but when we think back on the Nuggets, the tenure of the Nuggets and everything, the 49 years now of the Nuggets, it's phenomenal that we have finally a championship. But when we go back before that championship, were we really this beaten up whenever we didn't make a championship? Like, we understood this was kind of the Nuggets, and now we're kind of back into that mode, but we're not really, because since we've won that championship, we're kind of more a little less, I don't want to say entitled, but we definitely have tasted the sweet nectar of championship gold, and now we kind of expect that of our team every single year now. And when they don't, when they fall short, we feel like we failed. Like, we have zero effect really on who wins the games, right? And that's kind of what makes us feel worse, is that we have zero ability to affect the game. And so yet we still harness a lot of the failure in it. And it makes us feel bad. So when we focus more on the positivity, though, of the post game, just how well the Nuggets did play, given the facts. I mean, just look at the fact itself that we took OKC to 7 games. OKC is 100% healthy. Not one player on that team is dealing with any kind of issues. 0. That's why they are able to go 100% for 48 minutes every single game. They have 0 people with any kind of injuries. You look at the Nuggets and they are beaten, battered, war-torn. Like, you had AG with a grade 2 hamstring out-rebound the entire OKC team in a Game 7. You had Nikola Jokić with an elbow injury getting near triple-double, very high, too high, extremely high double-doubles. I mean, you had Jamal Murray, who had what kind of illness he had, go off on them in Game 6. You had what are the other? Russell Westbrook had a ruined hand, and even though he was fairly horrible in this series, he still had a lot of good plays in it because he's a good basketball player, regardless of the several times that he's able to brick it or whiff it. Still, when you look at that, we also didn't have our coach. We had an interim coach. We didn't even have our actual head coach. So you look at all of those facts and you place it up against OKC. Damn, we're good. We are really good. Have pride in the Nuggets, man. Like, they gave it their all, and they deserve a lot more credit than ESPN will ever be willing to give them. Give them more credit than TNT, I'm sure, will give them. Like, they earned a lot more than what they actually ended up getting, and so I give them credit. And even if it wasn't a championship, they deserve one for sure this year, just for how hard they all played. I mean, Aaron Gordon is still dealing with the losing of his brother. I know that was almost a year ago, but it can almost be 20 years from now, and that is still going to affect him. You never move on from that shit. It still lingers. It still is difficult to get over. So you're dealing with that. You have MPJ with his shoulder as well. He even had a 20-plus point game against him, right? A double-double as well against them. And so, like, his shoulder, his back, his leg, I mean, the stuff that he's dealing also with off court with his brothers. I mean, all of this stuff, and you look at OKC, and they are dealing with nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing off court. Nothing internally within their health. They are 100% healthy, 100% mentally stable. Nothing wrong is going on with them. It is a bright and shiny day in OKC every single day with them. They are dealing with no problems. So you put that aside next to Nuggets, and you got to be proud of the Nuggets. You got to be proud of them. So they also had the most difficult post schedule out of any team. Any team. There is not one team that played every other day than the Nuggets. The Nuggets are the only team this postseason that played every other day. OKC started playing every other day as soon as they started playing the Nuggets, but they weren't doing that against the Grizzlies. And then they had, a week off or so? I mean, like, it's just, there's so many factors here that people try to dismiss that you have to kind of remind yourself, and it does help ease a little bit of the pain of not getting that championship. When you just see how high the stack of cards was against us, it kind of makes you feel a little better that they went out the way they did, They didn't blow a 20-point lead this time. They didn't even, lose at home court and get sent home at home court, They weren't defending a championship this year. That was the Celtics, right? So, there's a lot to look at here. I mean, they did all of this again, and they didn't have their coach. They had the most difficult season, and so I give them credit. The best takeaways from this season, though, too, when we look back at the entire season, in fondness, I know we had some horrible games. We lost to the worst teams. We also won against some really good teams. Unfortunately, we never beat the best teams, except for we did beat OKC twice, right? So, yeah, we beat the best team. We already beat the best team. We're actually tied with the best team in win-loss columns right now. Yeah, sure, they got the 7-game win. So, but as of now, really, it's, 5-6 against them. So when we go back next season, we're going to even it up with 6-6. So we're even with them, if not better than them. I believe that 100%. I mean, the only reason that they are even ever kind of good is because they are able to get the attention of the whistle. And I'm not the only one saying that. There are several people saying that. Even Chris Finch said it. Several NBA players have said that. So it's not always negative to say that. It's kind of a tactic that everyone knows, and they are just very good at drawing the whistle. So, but when we look back at this season, some takeaways that I look very fondly on is that Jokić had his best season ever, averaged a triple-double, and we got to witness that. True, unfortunately, it's most likely going to be that he doesn't get an MVP when he should. He is going to get robbed by that free throw merchant SGA, and we already know this, so it's best to kind of plan ahead in our expectations rather than expect him to win when he's not going to. And then AG, through all of his suffering, had the calf strain, the stuff with his brother, still had his best season of the year ever as well. You had CB. He had his best season ever as well. So you had 3 players right there with their best seasons ever. Russ, despite having a horrible time against OKC, still had a great season playing with the Nuggets. Very well, on-court combination with Jokić and the boys. He brought a lot of energy to the team that was lacking and was very needed. And then Malone surpassing Doug Moe as the winningest coach in franchise history. We got to see that. Brody achieved a career high as well as a league high of triple doubles with 200, and then surpassed that as well. And we got to see all of that. And that was with the Nuggets, right? He didn't do it on some other team. He did that with the Nuggets. That's awesome. We saw several games where Jokić and Brody both got triple doubles in the same game. There's lots to be proud about, about this season. And that's what I'm trying to focus more on, not the negative shit. And there you can definitely dive deep into that, but just staying focused on the positivity, because that's what we need, more of in this world. And so now when you look at what's going on right now, and I know a lot of Nuggets fans maybe not even want to care about NBA right now because the Nuggets aren't in there. But when we do look at it and we look at who's left, we have OKC, Timberwolves, and then for Western Conference side, and then the Eastern Conference side, Pacers, Knicks. So with the Western Conference, if I were to actually think hard on this of who I would want to win, don't shoot me, Nuggets Nation. I mean, this is kind of a catch-22 no matter what. Like, if you choose Timberwolves, you're betraying the Nuggets. If you choose OKC, you're betraying the Nuggets. And that's typically why I kind of just hope that they both beat the hell out of each other. That's what I would love. And that neither one of them wins the championship. That's also what I would love. But if I have to actually put my, thinking cap on of who I actually want to win, I will say I'm a little bit more favoring the Timberwolves in this round, or the conference finals, and I do actually hope that they make it to the finals. So the Timberwolves, and I say this because of how many former Nuggets are actually a part of that team. If you remember, Tim Conley used to be our GM, he's their GM now. And I know that he 100% was bitter on his let go and created the Timberwolves specifically to take out the Nuggets. And so he packed it with players that could take out Jokić and the rest of the team, as well as he got a lot of former Nuggets coaching staff. Chris Finch used to be a Nugget. Micah Nero used to be a Nugget. And then also there's a lot of Knicks a part of the Timberwolves. So you have Julius Randle, DiVincenzo, former Knicks. And it's weirdly makes me excited to see SGA get disrespected by Ant. I just have to be honest about that. Like, to see him and Ant go at it, I kind of like that. I kind of like seeing my two hated rivals just tear the shit out of each other. And I just hate SGA more than I hate Ant right now. So Ant-Man, go at it, man. Take him out. I would love to see that. I hate Ant, but to see him disrespect OKC and SGA actually makes me happy. So that's kind of the reason why I'm going to be voting or rooting for the Timberwolves. And now we go over to Eastern Conference side, which I'm more invested in now than I am the Western Conference side. But the Eastern Conference side, you have the Knicks and Pacers. And the Knicks, if Pacers win, I won't hate it. But I do want the Knicks now to win it. Win it all, actually. I love Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. I've really dug into their playing a while ago now, and I've been watching them, and I just really appreciate the toughness. They're just really fun to watch. Even off the court, their podcast is really nice. If you didn't know, they have a podcast together. It's just really awesome. You know, it seems like they are roommates almost. I think they were roommates in college or whatever, but they're fun to watch. It's an incredibly fun team to watch. So, and then they bring a lot of grit when they go to battle as well. Like Josh Hart, you know, AG, we don't, like I said before, we don't say enough. We don't get enough praise about. He is one of the toughest players in the league right now. He is maybe top 3, if not top 2. In that lineup, I would actually put also Josh Hart. Josh Hart is also equally tough as nails. So, you know, I just love that. And Jalen Brunson, to his credit too, can be very tough when he wants to be. So I dig the Knicks. I don't dig the Knicks fans that, you know, attacked the Pacer fan, but the idea of the Knicks themselves, the team, and then just the fact that they are the only big market team that gets them as much disrespect as non-big market teams, smaller market teams get. And so just like, those are my people. The Denver Nuggets kind of people are kind of similar as the Knicks people, and vice versa. And that's kind of why I dig the Knicks. And not to mention the fact that I was a Knicks fan back when Patrick Ewing was playing. So, you know, I enjoy them. And I would much rather watch Knicks and Timberwolves get to the finals in that matchup, especially when you look at the story that's behind it. The big trade that happened at the start of the season with Cat for Randall and DiVincenzo. Just seeing who had the better trade in that. It actually would come down to this matchup if they were to play against each other. And even then, you could also say a little bit, just if one of those teams wins the championship this year, then it's worth it. And if one goes to the finals and one doesn't, then obviously the other one does win that trade regardless of that as well. But if they both go, then it's down to who wins the finals, right? And I would love to see that matchup. I'm more interested in that than to see SGA foul his way to a chip. I just can't, I cannot stand that. And if OKC manages to make it to the finals, hopefully whichever team gets out of the Eastern Conference Finals, Pacers, Knicks, I hope they make them pay. I hope they make the OKC pay. Beat them up, New York. Beat them up, Indiana. Like, do whatever you need to earn your chip. And then I normally wouldn't be interested in watching the Western Conference Finals now, but after learning Coach Malone was going to be a part of the ESPN crew, I decided to watch it. I I will say before the Western Conference started today, I was a huge fan of Malone, but now I kind of feel very disrespected by Malone. If you watched any part of the Western Conference Finals, then you probably saw Malone say that OKC has the best fans in the league. And that just hurts. That hurts. I mean, you had so many Nuggets fans upset with his dismissal. Me, for one, I was one. And then there was several Nuggets fans visible during the last home game. I mean, I'm not the only one that was upset. There was a lot of us that were upset over his dismissal. And he goes and he says some shit like that about OKC fans being the best fans. That's just not right. That sits wrong with me. And then he just tops it off. Like, he just continues digging that knife into the backside and twisting it by saying SGA is the MVP. Like, come on, man. You were Jokic's first and only head coach so far, and you go and do that. Like, come on. Like, if you're upset at the Cronkies, that's fine. You can totally be 100%. I'm upset at the Cronkies myself. But once you turn your aggression towards the players and the rest of the coaching staff and the fan base that was 100% behind you, get the fuck out of here. That is unfortunate. That's a little bit of betrayal right there, because we all had your back, Malone. We all had your back, and you kind of kicked us in the nuts there. We didn't deserve that, man. We did not deserve that. But the Knicks and Pacers, I just want to say, control the ball better than any other team in the postseason right now. If OKC or Timberwolves turn the ball over as much as they have in the past few rounds, they will be in trouble against either team, Pacers or Knicks. Pacers are having an incredible run this postseason, having destroyed the Bucks and Cavs both in 5 games. I mean, you beat the second best team in the league, the best team in the Eastern Conference Finals in 5 games, and not just beat them, you destroyed them. That is something to be very open-minded about when you're watching the Eastern side. The Pacers have come to play for sure. And then the Knicks also beat a very highly aggressive Pistons. And then they also beat the team that was favored to win the chip this year in the Celtics, both in 6 games. T-Wolves, even with the sloppy play, still managed to win both their rounds in 5, taking out both Lakers and Warriors. OKC swept, but then you look, taking out the Lakers and Warriors, but then you look at OKC, and what did they do? They swept a very weak and beaten Grizzlies, and then had an exhausted, beaten up Nuggets in 7 games. That doesn't impress me, and that doesn't say they are a better team. That says to me they had an easy pathway. Timberwolves, Pacers, Knicks all impress me more than OKC. Like they've been saying, right? The story and everything is that Ant-Man has now taken out Luka and LeBron. We aren't saying that he's taken out Steph Curry, because Steph Curry didn't really play. He only played 1.5 games, and then he got injured on his own accord. So he didn't really take out Steph, but he did take out Steph's team. So still, Golden State Warriors were one of the best teams in the last 20 games or so. So it's nothing to really sneeze at there. They were impressive. Pacers, to me, were probably the most impressive. And then Knicks also. Everyone had them counted out. Everyone actually counted them out, just the same as the Nuggets. And that's, again, another example of why I love the Knicks, because they face a lot of the same adversity as the Nuggets do. So everyone had them counted out against the Pistons. Everyone said the Pistons were going to win against the Knicks. And then they also said that the Celtics were going to win against the Knicks. They actually thought that the Celtics were going to win in 4 or 5 against the Knicks. And the Knicks showed up, won both road games, came home, won home game, and then went back and won a road game to close it out. Like, come on. Like, it's just actually no, they came back and they actually did it in 6, so they came back and they won it at home again. But still, like, come on, that's pretty impressive. Celtics were still a very good team. They were still very highly favored to actually be a repeat team and win it all again. But I will say, focusing on that fact, that the Celtics losing begs the question then to me, even though the Nuggets lost, is the season still a successful one though? Just because if you look at it, the Celtics and Lakers both lost. Neither one of those teams has a chance this season of winning a championship. So is the season actually successful? I mean, come on. That alone actually kind of helps me. I don't know about you, but that helps me with this pain of the Nuggets not winning. Like, at least the Celtics weren't able to do it. And now they can't say, the Celtics are better than the 2023 Nuggets. Like, both teams were dominating the championship year, and then they were second round exits the defending year. And it came down to injured players. Again, same thing happened with the Nuggets, right? So them not being able to repeat, and then the Lakers not being able to get a championship either, even when they were highly favored as well. As soon as Luka came in, everyone was like, oh, they're winning the chip. Nope. So, and it was as much hate as I have for Celtics and Lakers, that to me just sits warm, That sits warm with me to know that neither one of them can earn another championship this year. So, I think there's other things to consider here with our pain. So, and it still kind of feels like a slightly successful season, even if we didn't win that championship. And at least now we will have a champion who has never won the championship. I know there's ESPN saying that OKC has a championship in 1979 because of the Supersonics. Let me get this straight, okay? And I will literally fight you if you say that I'm wrong on this. I'm not wrong. And I have a lot of actual other backup from the actual OKC fans. Several OKC fans will agree with me on this. The Sonics and the Thunder are two completely different teams. The OKC is not Seattle. Let's get that perfectly clear. Like, yes, OKC was transitioned from Seattle, but after that, it's completely different. And then I want to point out, too, that they also say that the Pacers have ABA championships. But we don't count ABA stuff, unfortunately. I wish we did, because then we'd have a lot more recognition in the Nuggets as well, when they used to be the Rockets. But, there's, since nothing is counted for with the ABA, then we shouldn't count anything past 1980. That's why I say that. As soon as that merger happens, it's a completely different league. Anything that happens before then doesn't exist anymore. Like, Celtics, you don't have 18 championships. Lakers, you don't have 17 championships. OKC doesn't have a championship because the 1979 Supersonics is not the same as the today OKC. They're completely different teams. You can't cherry pick that only NBA stats count and not ABA stats. We either count everything or we count nothing before the merger. And so I choose, since we decide to only count NBA and not ABA, I say nothing before that merger counts. So that's what I say. And that's what I believe, and you can't change my mind on that. So now let's look at the offseason plays. Now what for the Nuggets? Well, I'd say the most important move for the Nuggets is to solidify an official GM. Right now, Ben Tesser, this guy, who is the interim GM, is the favorite for the job. Also being considered is Bob Myers, who, if you don't know who he is, he was the GM for the Warriors during the 2022 championship run. He now is also on ESPN as a commentator. Knowing the Cronkies, though, they don't like huge change unless they have to. That's why they don't typically fire coaches, which is why firing Malone and Booth was such a big deal, because they don't do that unless they really, really have to. So with Ben Tesser being in the org for over 20 plus years, that tells me already that they are more likely to go with him than any other candidates. And so there's most likely that's going to happen. And then the next move would be to get a head coach. I would say if you don't go with Ben Tesser, then you should get a GM who will pick their own head coach so that they can work well together. Obviously, we've learned from our lesson that Booth and Malone did not agree on anything. They were not good coworkers, and things went negatively very quickly. So what can we do to make sure that doesn't happen again? We get the GM who likes the head coach. We actually already have that with Ben Tesser and David Adelman. So, but if you don't go with them, then you need to have that GM who picks their own head coach that they will actually work well with. Right now, again, David Adelman is heavily favored to be the next coach. Ben and David know each other and will work well, so I actually don't mind this decision. Several other players also have advocated for David Adelman, and I honestly don't know who you can get with the little money the Kroenkes are willing to pay for the position. So, I know a lot of people are upset with David Adelman's coaching decisions, especially in that second round, but he still got us to a second round, right? Against a very favored OKC and took him 7 games. So he's not exactly horrible. So I'm actually fine if David Adelman becomes head coach. He deserves it. He's been in the lineup. He's won me over. So I dig the guy now. Any kind of past reservations I had with him are kind of less squashed. So I'm good with him. And if Ben Tesser is there just because Ben Tesser is there, I'm fine with that too, because the fact that they know each other and they will work well together. And that's kind of what, at the end of the day, we need and want. Short of front office decisions, the next thing I would say is important is to get more depth. Now, one thing that is something a lot of people don't understand about this is that Tim Connolly and Calvin Booth put the Nuggets in such a bad spot that the Nuggets don't even have a 2025 draft pick. That's right. They don't have a draft pick this offseason. That's horrendous. So that's because of Tim Connolly and Calvin Booth. And they have no assets to get another star to the team. You might be able to offload some players to give you some space, but because you have 2 players getting max contracts with MPJ and Murray, they don't have a lot of room to get a decent player, even if they trade bench players. So I think if a starter is in danger, it's MPJ. Short of that, I don't really see a path where MPJ or Murray, either of them takes on less money. I don't see either one of them giving up money. Like, they're going to continue to get paid what they are owed. So if not that, then they go another team. But I don't see them getting rid of Murray. They just aren't going to do it. And I don't see the Nuggets trading Murray either. So maybe MPJ, but then if not him, then the bench players. But the most likely outcome is that the Nuggets are forced to develop their bench players to be good players that other teams will eventually want them. That's making sure they get lots of time in the gym, on and off the court in the offseason, making sure they get lots of play time in preseason, and then time in the regular season. So let's stop with the trade Murray stuff. It's not going to happen because it is... like I said, he's not going to give up his money, and Jokić wants him. Like, at the end of the day, we all say we want good players around Jokić, right? Jokić wants Murray. They work well together. I know they didn't work the best together a lot of times this season, but there was still snippets of 2023 Jokić and Jamal Murray 2-man action there. So I don't see Murray leaving for anyone's unfortunate viewpoint. But hopefully he is held under more pressure this offseason to get back into shape. That's what I would like. I would like Murray to get back into shape. And then on top of that, you need the Nuggets healthy, man. I mean, you have 5 Nuggets players right now who are all beaten up. Like I just ran the list, right? MPJ with the shoulder and still back issues. You got AG with his his calf and his hamstring. You have Jokić with the elbow. You have Westbrook. If he returns, you have the hand thing. And I hope he does return. Honestly, I do hope he returns. I know a lot of people are upset with him and how horrible he was in round 2, but again, you will not find another player that excites that and irradiates as much energy as Westbrook does, and he was good on the Nuggets, more so than he's ever been since he was a Thunder, really, I feel like. And then you have also Murray with his health issues, so, you know, if they just get healthy, hopefully they take a month off. That's what I would like to see. Just a month off, and then you're back in the gym, and you're working hard, and you're working to be even better than you were this past season. That's what I would like to see. I mean, Jokić was as phenomenal as he was this season because he was in the Olympics. He's even said that. That helped continue to train him. So hopefully, you know, they stay focused on health and getting better. That will all help the Nuggets. But you know, the big thing I'm excited to see next, though, honestly, is to see De'Ron Holmes finally get minutes. I think he is going to be a great asset to the Nuggets. He was a great asset, I feel like, that was acquired last season. And it's unfortunate that he got injured and never got to play a single game this season. So he should have a better impact and help the bench next season as well. He's a tall guy. He's a big guy. So maybe ease some, of the issues with the backcourt. So, the front court with the power forwards and everything. I mean, I think you can do it. So he will be great. And then the last thing, just before I head out here, we close it all up, is that I wanted to let all you know that I am looking at how I can make this podcast better. And what I feel like can make this podcast better is to have a co-host, or at least someone additional to talk to and everything. So if you want to be a part of this podcast, go on my X account. It's in my lower third here. I'll also put it in the description. Go to my X account and DM me. I would love to talk to some more Nuggets, like-minded Nuggets fans, even if we don't have the same ideas on what the Nuggets should do or whatever. Creates conversation. Let's do it. And if you're not a Nuggets fan and you still want to talk about the Nuggets and all the other teams, also hit me up, because I would love to have more conversation, not just me talking to a camera by myself. I'd like to add more. So if that is you, go to my X account and DM me, and let's chat, right? So that's pretty much all I got for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe. Share it to your friends and family. And you've been listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about sports with good vibes. We'll catch you later.